Hey, English 102 students, Mama Borg coming at you live from our classroom. I want to talk a little bit today about a new activity I want us to engage in. We're going to do something called speed reading. And this is not like accelerated reader for middle school or elementary school. This is a different activity altogether. We did a baseline reading with in-person students last week. I usually like to do 2 baseline readings. And so we're going to try this with remote learners at home. Not sure how well you'll be able to graph your content and your information this week. We can do the mathematical calculations and graph later. I'm trying to get some materials out to you guys and gals. I can do it electronically. It's nicer to have the paper in hand. Ultimately, you guys and gals will be creating bar graphs like this that chart your reading speed. Talk more about that in a minute. This is something I've been doing for 20 years. Tons of studies support this activity. What we're going to do is I'm going to try to increase the speed at which you understand text that you read. We read a lot all day, every day. We do power skimming on our phones, on text, on social media. We consume lots and lots of text. But being able to comprehend that text at high rates deeply and understand fully what we're reading is super important. And so I want to kind of go back to some fundamentals the next couple of weeks before spring break. And this is one of those fundamentals. So what we do initially is we focus on the fact that reading is twofold. It is a mental exercise, but it's also a physical exercise. You have 6 sets of muscles that control your eyes, that move your eyes up and down, side to side, and on the diagonal. And the rate at which your brain can kind of keep up is contingent on how fast you can kind of move your eyes. Now, we all know that most of us think we have 2 reading speeds. One, which is slow and methodical and plotting, and we're going to understand everything that we read. This is the pace that you read at if you read books for pleasure and joy. Some of you don't do that. Hopefully you will, again, can kind of find some books that you like to read. The other speed that we have is like super fast. Oh my God, I totally forgot I have a quiz now. I've got to skim, and try to cram it all in my head as quickly as I can so that I can vomit it out on a quiz. Slow and comfortable to understand. Skim. We actually have a whole range of speeds in between those two. And this activity will kind of get at all of those different kinds of speeds for you. Now, it's kind of hard to track reading speed. I don't have like a radar gun like a police officer has to track speeding. You don't have a speedometer on your forehead that says how fast your reading speed is. And so we actually have to do a little bit of mathematical calculations. And Borg doing math is hilarious, but fortunately it's really basic math. We're going to come up with a mathematical calculation to calculate your reading speed. And I'll get into that in my next video. But basically, whenever you calculate speed, that is a matter of distance over time. And so the way we calculate your distance is how many pages can you read in a set time limit. And so for the foreseeable future, for every day, I'm going to want you guys and gals to spend about 9 minutes reading quietly. This is going to be kind of hard depending on what environment you're in. You shouldn't have music. You shouldn't have a lot of sounds. You should spend just 9 minutes straight reading is what we're going to kind of try to do. And I'll explain, again, the specific details later on. But if you do this for 9 minutes a day for about 20 days, I will increase, or you will increase your overall reading comprehension dramatically. Most students, by the end of this, what used to take them an hour to read now takes them 45 minutes or 30 minutes to read. And that is reading and understanding what they have read. It's not just skim, and not understanding what you read. What happens whenever when we increase our speed, our comprehension goes down, okay? Whenever we slow down our speed, our comprehension goes up. This is comprehension, this is speed. So as speed goes up, comprehension comes down. But over time, if you do this over time, what happens is your comprehension learns to catch up with the speed. So when we start off at first, I'm going to have you speed up and your comprehension is going to totally drop through the basement. You're not going to understand what you're reading. And that's okay. Now note, do not go and tell your parents and parental units that I said it is okay for you not to understand what you read all the time. That's not what I'm saying. For this activity, though, it's okay that as we speed up, your comprehension is going to go down. And again, I'm going to explain that a little bit down the road. But what we're going to be trying to do is break old habits, because again, you only think you have 2 reading speeds, slow and comfortable or super fast and not understanding. So what we're going to do, let me see if it's on here, breaking old habits. So we're going to get a baseline reading speed. The first time we do this, I'm going to have you read for 9 minutes, and I want you just to read at your absolutely most comfortable reading pace ever for 9 straight minutes. Just read. And then we're going to calculate your reading speed from that. And then once we've done that, we're going to do a series of acceleration activities that move your eyes a little bit faster. And we'll get into that in a hot minute. Research implies that if we do this accelerated exercise for 20 days straight for 15 minutes a day, your increase of speed will carry without a loss in comprehension whatsoever, and you'll see dramatic growth in your overall reading speed. Now, in public education, we don't have time to devote to this, so we do it for 9 minutes a day, and we'll do it for about 3 weeks. We'll get the big payoff, but we'll get a little payoff. And in the end, students' reading speed definitely does go up. Your reading speed can definitely go up. And that's what these charts are. I have students make charts of their reading speed. This is their original baseline, and then we do a bunch of acceleration activities, but this is the chart at the end where their growth has clearly doubled. The purple line at the beginning and this pink line at the back, this is their new comfortable reading speed. This was their original comfortable normal reading speed. And they over doubled their reading comprehension speed. So what normally took them an hour to read now only takes them 30 minutes to read and understand it. And that's the goal with this activity. It's a little weird, it's a little funky, it's a little hard to do remotely, but I'm going to try, and I hope it kind of makes some sense. I'm going to hope you can graph your growth over time at home, and I'm going to talk a little bit about that in the next video. But I know people have finite attention spans and also bandwidth, so I'm going to keep these videos short for right now. As usual, remember 3 things. I like you, be safe, make smart choices, and let's get to reading. I'm so excited.